Leicester City won 2-1 at Sheffield United. Stand by for Liverpool Arsenal. You're listening to Premier League Live.
As we look down from the cradle of our hot air balloon, we wonder as a svelte ocean of stampeding gazelles gallop majestically earthbound towards a waterhole.
Somebody say a water no. Lovely. Mine's a pint. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6 o'clock.
Your natural selection for the big game, bodacious banter and hookers. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6 on Talk Sport.
Masters of Drive Time Radio, Adrian Durham and Darren Goff.
Drive, she said. I'll tell you when to stop.
Big names and big comments from the best in the business.
Darren, everything needs to step up the performances. I still think United will finish in the top 4.
Scattergun Sports Talk and explosive opinion.
Jamie Carey.
I'm talking to Gary Neville and Adrian Durham. 5 years ago, I wouldn't have known who to punch first.
Adrian Durham and Darren Goff.
I love the smell of football in the afternoon.
Weekday afternoons from 4.
Butter me buns.
On Talk Sport.
Hello, Jim White here. Sorry, I've just nipped into the dentist for a quick checkup. What's that? Open wide? All right. Well, never mind that. Polish up your radio tomorrow morning from 10 when I'll be extracting the biggest names in football and filling your morning with the biggest and best stories I can get my teeth into.
Jim White. Weekday mornings from 10 on Talk Sport.
Can I rinse out now? Oh, sorry, I missed the sing there.
The Sports Bar with Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy on Talk Sport.
Join the cutthroat posse in the last chance saloon of sporting prowess.
Come and Navajo if you think you're hard enough.
They'll be rustling up tomorrow's back pages as they send you crashing headfirst along the bar of sport.
It's the good, the bad, and the Cundy.
Get off your horse and drink your milk.
On the Sports Bar, weeknights from 10 on Talk Sport. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6 o'clock on Talk Sport. The cornerstone of any nutritious sports breakfast.
A morning delivery of big names and essential game talk, discreetly wrapped and violently lobbed over the fence onto your radio. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast.
100% pure Scotch beef.
Monday morning from 6
on Talk Sport. Driving home with Darren Goff and Durham, a sporting legend and an angry sports journalist who'll pick a fight with anyone.
Just really winds me up. Absolutely unbelievable.
To say I'm angry is an understatement.
Adrian Durham, what an absolute clown.
Dynamic, double-strength drive time radio.
Shall I stay?
I don't like listening to him. I'll turn off.
Do you want me to stay?
Adrian Durham and Darren Goff.
He's an idiot.
Right, hands up, who wants me to stay?
Drive time radio.
I don't have to.
Weekdays from 4, only on Talk Sport. Premier League live with Talk Sport.
Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang fires Arsenal into the lead in typical Aubameyang style.
The goals, the stories, the sackings, the thrashings, and everything in between.
Pookie takes it on his toes for the hat-trick, makes it 3 and wraps up all 3 points.
It's the most intense league in world football.
Spurs have scored again, and Moura has come on and made it 2-2 with his very first touch of the ball. Would you believe it?
Premier League live with Talk Sport.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Liverpool against Arsenal from Anfield. I'm your host, Tim Long. Alongside me, the former Chelsea, Brighton and Sunderland winger, Clive Walker. This is Premier League Live. Almost 55 years to the day since the BBC chose this fixture as the first ever to be broadcast on the iconic British programme Match of the Day. It's back for another instalment. That 3-2 Liverpool win over Arsenal on August 22nd, 1964 is symptomatic of the excitement that has galvanised recent meetings between these two English giants. It is one of the most significant matchups in the English football calendar and one of the most entertaining. The last 12 meetings have averaged close to 4.5 goals a game. No other fixture in the Premier League era has seen more goals or more hat-tricks scored. Not a bad backstory for a meeting then between the only two teams yet to drop a point in the new campaign. Forget about match of the day. This is match of the weekend, maybe even match of the season so far. Let's get to the team news then, and Jurgen Klopp makes 2 changes to the Liverpool side that scraped past Southampton a week ago. Both coming in the midfield with Fabinho and Henderson in for Milner and Oxlade-Chamberlain. So they line up with Adrian in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Matip, Van Dijk and Robertson along the back. Wijnaldum, Fabinho and Henderson in midfield. Salah, Firmino and Mane in the attack. Arsenal only just got past Burnley at home last week, and Unai Emery makes 2 changes for this one. Lacazette on the bench with record signing Nicolas Pepe coming into the attack, his Gunners debut. Reece Nelson also dropping out. Granit Xhaka returns into the midfield as an extra body in the centre. The full lineup for them is Leno in goal, a back 4 of Maitland-Niles, Socrates, David Luiz, Monreal. In the midfield, Xhaka, Guendouzi and Willock, and then Ceballos and Pepe supporting Aubameyang as the lone striker. Clive Walker alongside me for this one, and Clive, no doubt the main event of the weekend. What do you make of those 2 starting lineups?
It looks exciting, doesn't it? I think from a neutral fan's eye, I think if you're watching the game, I mean, it's certainly one of those that could bring fireworks, and I think most definitely from an attacking sense. I think we look at both sides attack-wise, certainly got people who can score goals there, so let's hope it's a nice open game.
Yeah, given the traditional defensive vulnerabilities of these 2 teams, it's a fixture that has just about guaranteed goals in recent years. They have both tried to fix that problem though, haven't they? You still expect attack to prevail today though?
I expect attack to prevail because I expect goals, and I guess at the end of the day, if it's 0-0, we're not expecting that, because essentially the defenders are not as good as the attackers for both teams. So it certainly opens the game out, and you can understand that Jurgen Klopp has, in some ways, shored up his midfield. He's strengthened his midfield in some ways to try and stop Arsenal from being that thorough playing side that we know they can be, and with the players they've got available today, I think they'll certainly be looking to play through the midfield of Liverpool. So I think that's the counter attack from Liverpool sense. If they can get it forward as well, they're dangerous.
Liverpool didn't do any significant transfer business over the summer, as we know. Barring 1 or 2 variations in their midfield, it's pretty easy to name their strongest starting 11, isn't it? Is that a good thing for you?
I think it's something that players like. I think players like that familiarity that you get from playing alongside similar players, and if you can just tweak it just a little bit. And I think from Jurgen Klopp's point of view, let's be honest, they were fabulous last season, so unlucky not to win the league. So I think from his perspective, just a couple of tweaks is something that he would be looking for, and that's what he's tried to do. But I think at some stage, of course, if they don't win things, if they don't win cups and trophies, that's second and third is not good enough, so they have to invest yet again, and players will change.
As for Arsenal, a debut today for club record signing Nicolas Pepe, a huge stage for him to make his bow, the 5th most expensive player in Premier League history.
I'm looking forward to seeing him. I mean, as probably all the Arsenal fans are. I think as well, the strengthening on paper that Arsenal have done, when it clicks, you feel that if all these guys to play to the level they can, they are going to be some side, and they certainly, for me, look to be the team at the moment to press Liverpool and Man City. So I think this is a big game for Arsenal. If they can come out on top of this game, they're certainly making a statement, especially with players like Pepe coming in if he has a good game.
Dani Ceballos was the player who really stood out for Arsenal last week, on loan for the season from Real Madrid. It's going to be hard for Mesut Ozil to get back in the team at this rate.
Well, I think what Ceballos gave Arsenal was something else, something different, and I think it was something they probably needed. I think as well everybody took to him. I think whoever watched the game took to the way he played and the way he organised and ran the show. And I think from an Arsenal fan point of view, they're going to look at it and say, well, Mesut Ozil doesn't do that often enough. He does it in bits and pieces, but not often enough. So yeah, of course, Ozil's got a challenge on, which is great. Again, for the management team of Arsenal and the coaching staff to see how they can progress Ozil to take control again if he can. If he can't, well, Ceballos will stay there.
Ozil not on the bench today for Arsenal, not in the matchday squad. Ceballos starts. As for Liverpool, we know about the threat of their front 3, and the 2 wing-backs, of course, is where the creativity comes from. The one player who's really standing out for them right now is Sadio Mane. He's into his 4th season at Anfield, but over the last year, he's really gone to another level, hasn't he? 26 goals in all competitions last season, 3 in just 2 games so far this season.
I think he's phenomenal. I think he is probably the one player, we can talk about Salah all day long and the goals that he obviously can score, but Mane for me is unselfish, and I like that. I think Salah's more selfish, and I think he's unselfish. Mane, he will score goals, and he can get them from anywhere. He can surprise you. He can get the traditional goals. He gets headers. He's brave enough to get in the box. He certainly is a danger. One of the best players for me in the Premier League. I certainly would like him at my club.
Okay, ahead of this big matchup, let's hear from the two managers, Arsenal's Unai Emery and first Liverpool's Jurgen Klopp.
We want to be the team nobody wants to play against. But I still have to. It's not about being not before that you don't want to play against us, because we need opponents. It's that in the game you think, wow, that's too much. They are too intense. They are too quick, too strong, too fast. But ever.
Each match is a big challenge, and each match is for us to prepare the best possible. And also the idea is to continue cutting our way, continuing cutting our style, be strong, also to recover some players, to be fit some players. The percentage they need to improve.
It's like it should be. It's a big opponent, very, very strong opponent. It's Anfield. It's us. So I'm looking forward to it.
But really, we are looking forward to play and to show how we are now, and a very big test against them to show their capacity and our capacity.
Yeah, Unai Emery, the last voice you heard there, and we know how good a job Jurgen Klopp's done in his 4 years at Liverpool. Unai Emery a little earlier on in his process trying to transform the team, of course, after Arsene Wenger, just his second season. What have you made of his impact so far?
I think it's been one of those where we often talk about foreign players coming to England, playing in the Premier League and trying to understand it very, very quickly. I think Unai Emery is in a similar position. He's come to the Premier League and it's been different for him. I think he's matured, I think he's grown, and I think he's learned, and I think that's important for the manager, because in learning they seem to have had their summer window of bringing players in, and by learning now all of a sudden they look like a threat, whereas I don't think they did last season. So he certainly turned one or two things around from inside the football club, so it's a learning curve for him. Jurgen Klopp's had 4 years, as we say. In some ways 4 years is a long time as a Premier League manager these days, so Jurgen's obviously doing a good job as well. So again today, two big guns for me coming together, which sounds like a fabulous game, and you end up thinking, well, can you pick a winner? It's so difficult.
Yeah, as for Jurgen Klopp, he led Liverpool to the third highest points tally in Premier League history last season, enough to have won the league in 25 of the last 27 seasons. They closed a 25-point gap on Manchester City down to just one. Do they have enough to go and try and do it all again this time around? We're just moments away from this one. It's one of the biggest fixtures in the domestic footballing calendar. The 18-time champions of England, Liverpool, set to take on the 13-time champions, Arsenal. Both teams looking to maintain their 100% starts to the new season. Kick-off is around 5 minutes away, and you're listening to Premier League Live.
As we look down from the cradle of our hot air balloon, we wonder as a svelte ocean of stampeding gazelles gallop majestically earthbound towards a waterhole.
Somebody say a water no. Lovely. Mine's a pint. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6 o'clock.
Your natural selection for the big game, bodacious banter and hookers. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6
on Talk Sport. Masters of Drive Time Radio, Adrian Durham and Darren Goff.
Drive, she said. When to stop.
Big names and big comments from the best in the business.
Darren, everything needs to step up the performances. I still think United will finish in the top four.
Scattergun sports talk and explosive opinion. Jeremy Carey.
I'm talking to Gary Neville and Adrian Durham. 5 years ago, I wouldn't have known who to punch first.
Durham and Darren Goff.
I love the smell of football in the afternoon.
Weekday afternoons from 4.
Butter me buns.
On Talk Sport.
Hello, Jim White here. Sorry, I've just nipped into the dentist for a quick checkup. What's that? Open wide? All right. Well, never mind that. Polish up your radio tomorrow morning from 10 when I'll be extracting the biggest names in football and filling your morning with the biggest and best stories I can get my teeth into.
Jim White! Weekday mornings from 10 on Talk Sport.
Can I rinse out now? Oh, sorry, I missed the thing there.
The Sports Bar with Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy on Talk Sport.
Join the cutthroat posse in the last chance saloon of sporting prowess.
Come and Navajo if you think you're hard enough.
They'll be rustling up tomorrow's back pages as they send you crashing headfirst along the bar of sport.
It's the good, the bad, and the cundy.
Get off your horse and drink your milk.
On the Sports Bar, weeknights from 10 on TalkSport. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast, Monday morning from 6 o'clock on TalkSport. The cornerstone of any nutritious sports breakfast.
A morning delivery of big names and essential game talk, discreetly wrapped and violently lobbed over the fence onto your radio. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast.
100% pure Scotch beef.
Monday morning from 6
on Talk Sport. Driving home with Darren Goff and Doug, a sporting legend and an angry sports journalist who'll pick a fight with anyone.
Just really winds me up. Absolutely unbelievable.
To say I'm angry is an understatement.
Adrian Durham, what an absolute clown.
Dynamic, double strength drive time radio.
Shall I stay?
I don't like listening to him, I'll turn off.
Do you want me to stay?
Adrian Durham and Darren Goff.
He's an idiot.
Right, hands up, who wants me to stay?
Drive time radio.
I don't have to.
Weekdays from 4, only on Talk Sport.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Liverpool against Arsenal from Anfield. I'm your host, Tim Long. Alongside me, the former Chelsea, Brighton and Sunderland winger, Clive Walker. This is Premier League Live, and it's some noise that's being generated around this famous old stadium right now as we await the arrival of the two sets of players. We'll take a final check on the two lineups. For Liverpool, it's Adrian in goal, a back four of Alexander-Arnold, Matip, Van Dijk and Robertson, a midfield of Wijnaldum, Fabinho and Henderson, and an attack of Salah, Firmino and Mane. For Arsenal, Leno the goalkeeper, the back four, Maitland-Niles, Socrates, David Luiz and Monreal, Xhaka, Guendouzi and Willock in the midfield, Ceballos and Pepe in support of Aubameyang up top. Lacazette has only made the bench today. He's one of two to drop out for Arsenal. And you'll never walk alone, reverberating around Anfield right now on match day 1. It was Chelsea against Manchester United. On match day 2, it was Manchester City against Tottenham. Both lived up to the expectations. This is the Premier League's mega matchup on match day 3 of the new season. 31 top-flight titles between these two. Two of the 3 most successful clubs in the history of the English game. And 2 clubs who pride themselves, of course, on playing an entertaining and exhilarating brand of football in this electric atmosphere. That should be something to truly behold. Take cover and hold on to your hats. We're expecting an all-guns blazing offensive showdown between 2 of the most legendary gunslingers in town. The 2 sets of players are out on the playing surface, which is bathed in sunshine from one side, the other side in shade. Arsenal in their dark blue change jerseys with yellow trim. Liverpool, of course, in their red home kit. And we are just about ready to get underway as the 2 head coaches shake hands and embrace. Unai Emery of Arsenal and Jurgen Klopp of Liverpool. They'll take their respective seats in the dugout. And Liverpool will get us underway wearing all red, with Jordan Henderson in the centre circle rallying the troops. And they will start attacking the goal across to our right. Clive Walker alongside me for this one. It's goosebump stuff already, Clive, isn't it?
Absolutely, atmosphere. Just takes my memory back a few years when I walked out at Anfield. What a fabulous stadium with a super set of supporters that just make that hair stand on the back of your neck, give you a buzz. It makes you want to play, to be honest, even if you're on the away side. But you've got to get the ball first, and that's the problem often.
Arsenal trying to pass out from the back straight away against the high press of Liverpool. The goalkeeper Leno went past Firmino, and they've given it away, only about 30 yards away from their own goal, but Henderson can't control, and Arsenal will try and clear it now. Intercepted on halfway by Alexander-Arnold. A bit of head tennis as it comes back and falls to the feet on this near side of Joe Willock. Down the line go Arsenal, although Willock running out of room and dribbling the ball out into touch for a Liverpool throw.
That's unlucky. He really tried to play some good entertaining 1-2s there with Aubameyang, and almost it came off for Willock. But Liverpool, interesting to see Trent Alexander-Arnold already playing very high up the park, a long way forward. which is interesting to see. It might give Arsenal an opportunity to break down the left-hand side and get behind him, which will give Matip maybe a huge problem defensively. But Liverpool got the ball again.
Jordan Henderson
then turns and gets himself forward, and he's on running all the way to the far post. So unlucky. Great ball across the face of the 6-yard box from Robertson.
Talk about all of the goals in this fixture down the years. In recent times, the goals have been increasing, and the pace is increasing straight away here inside the opening 2 minutes as Fabinho gets tripped on the far side. We only had to wait about a minute and a half for our first half chance of the game, and Liverpool are looking to create something more now.
It's a poor challenge by Xhaka. It's clumsy, it's uncomfortable, he stands on the side of his ankle. Certainly
in a deep crossing position from the left flank for Liverpool. Robertson has placed the ball down. 3 visits to Anfield. Robertson coming forward on the far side. There was also another 5-1 humiliation back in 2014 when Arsene Wenger's team arrived here as Premier League leaders. Here's Henderson flicking on into the box towards Firmino, and he was just about held off by Socrates as the ball bounces through to the far side where it's gathered by Leno.
Now, like what I've seen from Arsenal defensively at the moment, they look like they've got a good understanding. They're trying to play out from the back here and look like they're giving themselves even more trouble, but I think they have a good understanding there. They know what each other's doing, which is always a good thing. And Liverpool playing the high press when, well, they're giving away a throw in near the corner flag as Arsenal try and pass out from deep.
5 minutes in, Arsenal playing with fire, and it was the man who's on fire, Sadio Mane, leading the press. And still Arsenal can't get out of the Liverpool half. Here's Alexander-Arnold. Back it goes to Matip. Matip 10 yards off the edge of the centre circle, guiding forward from centre back towards Firmino. Fabinho stabs it across towards Robertson on the far side. It won't reach him. David Luiz there to head away. And now Wijnaldum, and the possession and the attacks and the pressure are going to keep on coming. Here's Salah, who drops deep to get on the ball. Mo Salah cutting in field, trying to use his left foot to caress the ball into the box. There are appeals for handball. Mane winning it back just off the edge of the D. Arsenal just can't get out here. Alexander-Arnold curls it towards the back post. It's an overhit cross. David Luiz knocks it back into a dangerous area though. Unfortunately for him, it fell to the feet of a teammate and Arsenal can't clear.
Well, they just about got bodies back into the right position, Arsenal, didn't they? And managed to clear their lines. And Pepe on the ball now getting the whistles from the Liverpool crowd. But he's actually done well to keep possession and maybe take a little bit of pressure off Arsenal. Just passing the ball around in their own half, but slowly Liverpool getting further forward and putting them under pressure.
Maitland-Niles gives it away now. David Luiz is over on the far side, and Guendouzi putting in a challenge. 6 minutes in, still 0-0, intercepted by Matip on the edge of the centre circle. Now Alexander-Arnold. He cuts back onto his left. He's going to try and shoot as he here from the edge of the D, dribbling across the box, and in the end it was taken off his toes by Willock.
I tell you what, when he drops his shoulder and does the first thing, that's when he should really get shot away.
Here he goes. First chance to get away, and he's beaten Virgil van Dijk, the player of last season. It's Pepe, then he lost the ball under his feet as he went to shape to shoot and tried to Cruyff turn. He got it all wrong after doing the hard part.
Yeah, he made a mess of it in the end, didn't he? It wasn't any fault of anybody else, just himself. But initially, super turn, gets away from Van Dijk really well. I just thought maybe he could have done better in pace-wise, really driven towards the box, but he slowed down and then he lost control of the ball. But looks like he wants to be able to play, all left foot, cutting in from that right-hand side.
He scored a ton of goals last season, 22 in Ligue 1. Here's Henderson across towards Alexander-Arnold. Near side gets the cross in. It's a beauty. Just had a little bit too much on it as it fizzed past the foreheads of several in the centre.
Oh, we said early on that Alexander-Arnold was high up the park. I mean, he's a long way up the field. He's like a right winger, but just gets too much on the cross. Really too heavy. It's too high as well. Got to get that one on the floor. You get it on the floor, even if it's a bad cross, someone intercepts and goes out for a corner, but they've lost possession now.
Had a remarkable 12 assists in the Premier League last season at the age of 20. Alexander-Arnold, only Fraser and Hazard had more in the whole of the top flight. And Andy Robertson on the other flank was only one behind him. Here he is again. Alexander-Arnold whips it into the centre. David Luiz there to head away and behind for a Liverpool corner.
And again, it's not a good ball though, is it? It's simple for David Luiz. I mean, he could have allowed the keeper to come and take it. Takes no chances, just makes sure he gets it away and out the danger area. But Alexander-Arnold, we know, has got good quality, but at the moment just not showing it. Corner.
He's put 3 balls in the space of the first 8 minutes, so sooner or later he's going to get it right.
You just feel Arsenal have to weather this storm. 8 minutes in, it's been all Liverpool, totally all Liverpool. But I think if they can weather the storm, get to the 15 to 20 minute mark, then they'll start to play.
First corner is an outswinger low from Alexander-Arnold. A chance for Wijnaldum. He tried to flick it, got it caught under his body, and then turned round and fortuitously saw the ball right in front of him, but then took a wild lash with his left boot.
Well, again, Alexander-Arnold, he's so good on the ball. He's just having an off day at the moment in these early stages. I'm not to say he won't improve. It's not a good ball in. Poor defending by Monreal. I don't know what he's doing. I don't think he's got a clue in there. And he's just turning around in circles. And it falls nicely for Wijnaldum. But unfortunately, he has a wild swing at the ball and completely misses the target. Total miskick.
David Luiz chips long. And they barely got it into the Liverpool half. And now there is something to chase for Pepe, who was the furthest forward, coming in from the right towards the centre, but he was never going to catch it with that one. It's out of bounds, about parallel with the edge of the Liverpool 18-yard box for a throw to the home team.
Well, this is as far up the field as Arsenal have got in these opening 9 minutes. It's quite surprising that they're there, but it looks like it's going to be all Liverpool still for a while.
Proactive defending from David Luiz as he took it on his chest on halfway, and then Joe Willock runs out of room to operate and dribbles out into touch. Liverpool not waiting, they take the throw-in down the line, and Salah is able to turn. Can he slip it through to Firmino? Very nearly did, but Nacho Monreal got in the way. Henderson volleys it superbly, first time across to the far flank. Robertson getting forward, room to cross, pulls it in left-footed, headed away from the edge of the box by Socrates. Liverpool turning up the pressure again. Wijnaldum then couldn't sort his feet out, and Arsenal will be relieved to have the throw.
Yeah, I think that's what it is at the moment for Arsenal. Any bit of relief they can get, a little bit of respite, reorganise, get bodies back into the right position, get their shape back, is all they're looking for. You just feel that with Arsenal, we know they're better than this, we know they can play, we know they can score goals. You just feel if they can weather this storm, they're going to be a danger. They're going to be a danger that Liverpool will be worried about. But at the moment, it's all Liverpool, all pressurisation. They're not worried about leaving maybe 1 or 2 gaps at the back. So it's a question of can Liverpool get a goal, or can Arsenal keep them out?
Liverpool playing at a relentless pace right now as Arsenal pitch the ball back. Aubameyang, first chance to get on the ball, and he passes over halfway, but it's a good 10 yards in front of Pepe. Aubameyang might have a chance here. He's out of his goal. Adrian Aubameyang over the top and just past the far post from 35 yards, with Adrian absolutely stranded.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. You've got to say Aubameyang's got to hit the target here. Liverpool lose possession of the ball in midfield. It goes forward to Aubameyang, who puts Pepe in, who runs infield, but Van Dijk's there. It's safe. Adrian, for some reason, comes to clear. He actually doesn't need to, or Van Dijk gets out of his way. But between the two of them, they make a huge mess. Adrian clears the ball straight to Aubameyang. Van Dijk doesn't know what's going on. He tries to hook it over the top and pulls it wide.
It was a lick of paint away. It skimmed past the post and crossbar.
That's the thing that Liverpool have got to be wary of, isn't it? We've seen Pepe's pace causing problems already, but you've got to say they can't afford to leave those sorts of gaps, and that's what we're talking about. Arsenal winning the ball in midfield and breaking very quickly.
11.5 minutes in, Liverpool 0, Arsenal 0. And this one certainly does look like a game that's got goals in it. It's been a thoroughly enjoyable first 12 minutes. A couple of chances already. And Arsenal will persist in playing out from the back as David Luiz finds Leno on the edge of his 6-yard box. Socrates on the far side of the penalty area. Maitland-Niles in the right back position. Forward to Guendouzi. A triangle of passes back to Socrates. Can they go somewhere with it though, Arsenal? Chip towards Monreal on the near side. A little bit more space for him, but he slows it down to a walking pace.
Doing better, Arsenal now. All of a sudden, that one run forward by Arsenal just made Liverpool drop off a little bit, allow them that opportunity to pass and pass. I mean, they've given the ball away with a long ball in the end, but they've just got that little bit more space, so maybe getting a little bit more respect.
Wijnaldum switching the play across to Robertson, who's always got energy to burst forward at pace. Down the line, Mane. You can say the same about him as well as he looks to attack the far edge of the penalty area. Mane step overs to the byline, pulls it back, and it deflects kindly into the arms of Bernd Leno.
Yeah, Socrates does well there. He just gets across, helps out Maitland-Niles, and we all know about Mane's pace, very, very quick, little step over, gets beyond Maitland-Niles, but Socrates gets some sort of block in, and the deflection goes in his favour, and it's easy for Leno to pick the ball up.
Sadio Mane, who finished level with Aubameyang and Salah for the Premier League Golden Boot last season. So all three of those players are on the pitch right now. Wijnaldum, he's challenged and the ball ricochets to Xhaka. And now on the far side, Arsenal will try and dribble across the edge of their own box. Willock receives it from Guendouzi. Ceballos. Aubameyang ahead of him, Pepe on the opposite flank, but he goes back to Monreal, and Arsenal just wising up now, looking to keep possession for a few passes, and then David Luiz goes long, and a chance maybe to turn in the box for Pepe, although he'll try and put the ball in the back of the net. The whistle has already gone for a handball against the Arsenal debutant.
And he's unlucky here, isn't he? And he gets himself into, again, running from the outside to in, being strong on his left foot. It bounces up awkwardly. I mean, it struck his hand. It is handball. It's an advantage to him, and it's the right decision. But, you know, these long balls, David Luiz got that capability of picking players out when they make those diagonal runs. And that certainly was a great 50-yard ball.
Here's Mane on the far side for Liverpool. There's no time to stop in this one. It's one end or the other. Very little of the game being played in the midfield. 14 minutes in. Liverpool 0, Arsenal 0.
I think Arsenal as well have played their way into it now. They're just getting comfortable with it. And it took that one run to push Liverpool back and put them on their back foot slightly, and now Arsenal are beginning to get involved, get closer and start to make some challenges.
Alexander-Arnold with the ball in field. Fabinho broke to him off Wijnaldum, and now Robertson is going to unleash here, and he drives it against Maitland-Niles, and the ball deflects up into the air, and he watches it well, dropping out of the late evening sunshine and heads it away.
They're passing the way out of their area much better now. They're finding much more space. It's what they do with it when they get over halfway is the answer.
Willock's got a second bite to the cherry here. The first time it was nicked off his toes by Henderson, but he's released Aubameyang this time near side of the penalty area. Arsenal attacking the goal across to our left. Aubameyang forced into a wide position, tries to play the give and go with Xhaka, but the return ball was too strong.
It's a poor ball, isn't it? Just turning it around the corner. Pace of Aubameyang will probably get on the end of most things, but he was never going to get that one. Runs out for a goal kick, which Liverpool take very, very quickly.
And here they go again, racing forward. They're on the edge of the Arsenal box already. Firmino tries to square it to Wijnaldum. The pass had too much on it, and it allows Arsenal to get on the ball and spray a long one forward to Pepe, who's opening up those long legs, and retrieve the ball by the corner flag on the far side, guarded by Van Dijk. Nicolas Pepe has shown flashes already in the opening 16 minutes of his first appearance for Arsenal.
Yeah, good hold-up play by him as well. Give Arsenal a chance to get some bodies higher up the pitch and get some support in. Monreal now left-hand side.
Just off the near corner of the penalty area, goes back to Willock. It's the first time really that Arsenal is stringing together passes inside the Liverpool half.
Yeah.
It's another measure, isn't it, of the way they've grown into the game.
Yeah, they have, and that's what we said earlier. You know, if Liverpool don't score, Arsenal will suddenly start to play, grow in confidence, and look like they're going to get something from the game.
Long ball over the top for Pepe again. Will he reach this one? Well, he would have done, but the flag is up on the far side anyway.
Yeah, tight call. I don't know if Liverpool can afford to allow him that sort of space running in behind, because if they get one wrong, Pepe certainly chase after it and get in there. But we've now got a proper game on now. Before it was Liverpool, all Liverpool. Now we're seeing Arsenal break forward as well and take control of the ball.
This one may ricochet kindly for Liverpool, and it does. Alexander-Arnold released by Mane, pulls it back into the penalty area, hammered away by Willock. And across towards the far side, Fabinho able to get it just off the edge of the centre circle from Robertson. Wijnaldum back to Robertson, far side in the shade at Anfield. Wijnaldum. It's been a really hot day all around the UK today, up to about 30 degrees Celsius, so the players, I'm sure, will appreciate that the pitch is starting to get covered in shade and the temperature is dropping now as they move it out to this near side. Liverpool with Alexander-Arnold, get it into the centre. It's another poor ball, isn't it? Intercepted off the chest of David Luiz.
I don't know what you do with Alexander-Arnold, because I mean, it's just a confidence thing for me that the delivery he's put in so far have been well below par, well below the level we know he can deliver. So I'm surprised. What do you do with him? Do you pat him on the back and say, don't worry, it will come? Or do you have a go at him and say, come on, you can do better, you know? But I'm sure he will improve because he is quality.
For now, they'll try their look down the opposite flank. Salah's gone across to the left. Wijnaldum over there as well. Here is Mo Salah.
Hardly mentioned his name as well, haven't we? Surprisingly, that Liverpool have been in so much control of the ball, but barely seen anything of Salah.
Henderson across to the far side towards Robertson. Onto his forehead, nodded down by the Scotsman to Wijnaldum, who's playing on the left of the midfield. Here is Salah again, dropping into the centre in a deep position, tried to thread it through to Mane. Plenty of Arsenal shirts on the edge of the box to block that one. They're looking to spring the counter-attack now. Here's Willock. They play out of tight quarters. And burst through the centre circle. Firmino is getting back to try and help his two centre-backs. Arsenal still have it with Pepe. He's gone for goal, and there were perhaps better options.
Yeah, wrong choice. Definitely the wrong choice. He's not shaped up to get the power out of the shot. Shooting for some 23, 24 yards. You're not going to get the power to beat the goalkeeper from there. And he's decided to shoot. Wrong decision. Had players with him, just needed to poke one of those in.
Two players running on ahead of him, and he went for goal instead from 25 plus yards out. Fabinho, 19 minutes played, Liverpool 0, Arsenal 0. Alexander-Arnold had space to cross again, but went back in field to Fabinho instead.
Wonder if that's a sign. Wonder if that's a sign.
Confidence.
Yeah. He's not putting crosses in. He could have put that across in there. Again. But his crosses have been poor, so he went in field. Maybe give himself a little bit of time to sort of regroup. Here he is again, wide.
From Henderson, just off the edge of the penalty area near side. Again he goes infield. Henderson chips it from a central position over the head of Mane. Firmino is trying to run in behind, headed away by Sokratis. Across to the far side, Robertson. He'll get the ball in straight away, and it's a delightful one. And that's what we've come to expect from the two Liverpool wing-backs, but this time it skips through the 6-yard box and out towards the corner flag, where Dani Ceballos is there to retrieve it.
It's a great ball in, isn't it? I mean, super delivery that you expect your forwards to somehow...
Oh, given away by Dani Ceballos. It's Mane! And Ceballos completely let off the hook. Mane drilled it from 16 yards out, completely free in the penalty area towards the far bottom corner, but Leno was there to bail out his midfielder.
That's amazing. That's amazing that he actually tried this. You know, he's just tried to clear the whole mid centre halves and centre forwards and get over the top to the far side, doesn't get anything on it.
Here goes Aubameyang down the other end though. No rest in this one, in towards Pepe. He just lost where the ball was after it ricocheted off him, and Liverpool will get the goal kick. But Clive, the best ball put in from this right flank for Liverpool has been from Dani Ceballos.
Amazing, isn't it? And I think Mane was good though. You know, he reacted very, very quickly. He was hoping to get something on it. I bet he was surprised to get that, but to drive it past Leno from there was always going to be difficult. He probably had time to have an extra touch if he'd have wanted to.
It was a fairly nice height for the Arsenal goalkeeper. Here's Salah on his left, trying to guide it into the centre. Couldn't beat the first defender, and Liverpool will start from square one with Adrian.
I'm sure Jurgen Klopp's going to have something to say about the crosses that have been put in. Robertson's been half decent.